Everybody. Today we're going to make a simple app that display points. We're going to use a linear layout and we're going to give it a reset button. So let's open up our Android Studio. We're just going to call this basketball. Going to next, we're going to start this off from scratch with the empty activity. We're going to leave everything as it is. We're going to hit finish. And once this is finished loading, we're going to create our project. So once again, the main purpose of this project is to create an app that display points and give it a reset button at the end. And we're going to use a linear layout. So I'm using Android Studio 3.0. These red lines right here will disappear when Android is done completely loading. You can see it completely load here at the bottom. So now our Gradle is syncing. This is usually a quicker process, but I guess today my computer wants to go a little slow, but that's no problem. Let's go to our activity.main XML. We're going to open up our preview so we can see the changes that we're making. We're going to change this from constraint layout to linear layout. We're going to give it a orientation of vertical. That's because we want everything inside of here to go from top to bottom. We're going to get rid of this text view. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to give this let's start off with, we have to display points to the user. So you know what, let's bring back that text view. But let's get rid of some of the stuff in the text view that we don't need. And we're going to get rid of this text here. We're going to give this a text of 0, so string/0, because we want all of our strings to be saved inside of our string XML folder. So if you put @string/ and whatever name you want right here, you're going to see this red arrow pops up. Just hit create string value, and we're just going to put 0 for right now. We can see this 0 is being saved here in our strings.xml folder. There's the name of it, and it's being retrieved here by calling @string/0, and there's our 0. And you know what, I want this to be centered, so let's do text align center, and let's change the width to match parent. So now our 0 is centered. Under the 0, we need to give it a button, so when the user press the button, the point will increase by 1. So our button size, we're going to put wrap content, and the height will also be wrap content because we want it to form around the amount of text we're going to put in it. So the text, we're going to put @string, and we're just going to say 1 point. Let's give it a capital P, 1 point, easier to read. Just create that string resource. So I'm going to give this 1 PTS. So when the user clicks on this, it's going to add 1 point. Let's give this an ID, and let's just call it main activity 1 point. So when a user clicks this button, this point will increase by 1. And when it's done, we need to give it a reset button. So let's give it a button. Its width, match parent. Its height, wrap content. But nope, we don't want it stretched out that far. We want it to wrap around the text that we're going to put. So we're going to change this to wrap content. Give it an ID of reset. And by the way, IDs are all unique characters. And we're going to give this a text. Do @string / reset. And once again, we want all of our strings to be saved in that string XML file. That's why we're doing @string / reset. I'm gonna call this reset. Awesome. So when a user presses the 1 point button, this increase, and then when they press reset, this goes back down to 0. That is what we're going to set up here. But there's no point in playing a game unless you can play it against more than one people. So let's create a second team. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on a linear layout. We're going to make its height match parent, its orientation wrap content. Its height match parent, its width match parent, its orientation. We're going to make that horizontal. So everything will go from left to right. Inside of here, since we want two teams, we're going to give this another linear layout with the height as 0 dp, the width as 0 dp, the height as match parent, and we're going to give it a weight of 1. Because by doing this, what we are telling Android Studio is that we have this linear layout, which width is going to be 0 dp, but the weight is going to be 1. So it's going to take up a certain portion of the screen. So when we add the second one, it's telling it to, hey, divide this this takes up 50% of the screen, and this takes up 50% of the screen. But the original text we added is now gone. But we're going to take this part right here, and we're going to just copy this, and then we're going to paste it inside here for our team A. Now we got this error right here because we didn't give it a orientation. See, if you look at the warning says there's no orientation specified, so we're going to specify the orientation. I want everything inside of it to go from top to bottom, so the orientation will be vertical. And voila, here we go here. We have that there, and you know what? The other team will have the same thing, so we can just paste this information in here. Same problem again, orientation, vertical. Next problem, the IDs are repeating. IDs must be unique. So we're going to call this main activity team A 1 point, and then go down here, and we're just going to change this to team B 1 point, and now we have a reset button. But since both these reset buttons are going to do the same thing, we only need the reset button one time. So we're going to get rid of this first reset button here, and the second reset button, we're going to move it so it's out of scope. So we're going to take that second reset button, and I forgot to copy it, so let's copy that. And we want the reset button to be at the bottom of these two linear layouts. So to do that, what we'll have to do is we'll have to put in a third linear layout inside of here. So we have 1, we have 2. We could put in a third inside of here, but the orientation will be horizontal, so that I would tell it go across. So instead of putting it inside of here, what we're going to do is put it on the outside of here, or we just put the button itself outside of here. We're going to tell this linear layout that your height now will be 0 dp, and we're going to give this one a weight of 3 because we want it to take up 3/4 of the screen spacing. And then what we're going to do here is, because I want it to be set correctly, instead of wrap content, we're going to change this height to 0 dp, and we're going to give this a layout weight of 1. So now it shows up at the bottom, but it's a little bit too big of a button. So what we can do is go to the top parent, give it a layout weight sum of 4, and we have this weight here of 3, so 3 plus this 1 equals 4. So we could change this to 3.5. We could change this to 0.5. So this 3.5 plus 0.5 equals the layout sum of 4. So now we could take this button, and I want it centered down here. So to center that button, what we have is something called gravity. So we can do layout gravity, and we could try to center it, and voila. So now it's centered. And you know what? Since we're centering other things, let's center these 1 points right here. So let's find this 1 point button here. We can click on it, and Android Studios will take us there. So we can just add, let's see if we add the same layout gravity center. Ooh, that did the trick. And let's do the same thing for this one here. So layout gravity center, awesome. So now this is looking presentable. So for now, this looks a little small, so let's increase the text size. So let's give this a text size of, and when it comes to text size, we use SP. So we're going to give it 20 SP, but that still looks a little small. We want it big and bold, so it's in the user's face. There we go, 30 SP, and this one text size of 30 SP, and bam, look at that there. Alright, in our next video, we're going to create the logic to make all of this work.